Hello everyone, my name is Stephen Howson and this is Manchester United versus Everton pre-game analysis. Now, we are top of the league while it's not exactly relevant, but do you know what? It's better than being near the bottom, innit? So, we're scoring goals, we're creating chances, and do you know what? That is what's the main difference from the last 3 or 4 seasons. I feel like Manchester United can score at any point during a game, and that warms the heart. Now, the last pre-game analysis for Manchester United versus Stoke, I said United hadn't truly been tested, nor had we truly got into top gear. We'd had a little bit left in the tank every time, and we didn't really get tested against Stoke, but 2 defensive errors let the point slip, and with it, the chance of having a 100% record going into this game against Everton, which on paper at least should be a test. Now, although I'm confident in what Manchester United can do, I do have this little bit of a nagging doubt which has built up over the last few years that we're going to let it slip at some point. Now, the games are starting to come thick and fast. Everton are on a real bad patch, but you know they're going to want to try and spring it back. They're always difficult at Old Trafford. Ronald Koeman is always a difficult opponent at Old Trafford. So we've got Liverpool on the horizon. We're in the meat of the Champions League ourselves. We're picking up injuries to the likes of Pogba, which is probably going to affect how we play over the next few weeks at least. Let's hope he gets a full recovery and isn't affected by it in a more long-term sort of sense. But Manchester United now, I have the confidence we can go and do it, but are you the guys the same? I've just got this nagging doubt. That confidence that I used to have under Sir Alex Ferguson, where we could almost be expectant to turn up at Old Trafford and put a win on, isn't there anymore. Maybe it should be. Maybe it deserves to be, but I'm being honest with you guys, it's not quite there at the moment. There's this nagging little doubt like, you're going to mess it up. So I hope we don't. Right, just going to stop the video right here and tell you that this video is sponsored by the good folks at Quiff. Quiff is an awesome betting app, and you can find the link in the description below to go and check out what they offer. Now, they will turbocharge your odds. Doesn't happen every single time, but what they do is they turbo boost your odds. Random acts of kindness. If you saw a couple of weeks ago, one of the bets that I put on got boosted from 360 odd to 1 to 400 to 1, and I won 2 bag off just a 5-team accumulator. Nice and easy one. Today I'm going for an absolutely crazy one though. What I'm going for is I am going for a 9-team ACCA. All of these lot to happen. Most of them are pretty straightforward home wins, most of them. I'm going for United to win by 2 clear goals. I'm going for Chelsea to win against Arsenal by 2 clear goals. And all the rest of these, hopefully, are just going to flutter in for us nicely. So get yourself Quiff downloaded. It's a great app. You've probably seen some of the adverts on TV, which are pretty cool as well. The link is in the description below, so go check it out. And they're supporting me, so please help support them. Let's carry on with the video. So then, Everton, what are they going to bring to the table? This is another side that has switched to a 3 at the back, although for the most part, that's what they're doing. It's clear that Ronald Koeman is not 100% satisfied with it, as he's also occasionally switched up to a 4-2-3-1, and he's not really finding a lot of success with that either. They've got 1 win, 1 draw away, which was at the Etihad, and then 2 defeats in the league so far. Leaves them pretty far away from where they sort of started or finished last season. You know, they looked good, didn't they, last season? Romelu Lukaku obviously scoring goals for them. They've added some good players, but they've not added that centre forward that they needed. They really needed a goal scorer. So that, in fact, if you take into account their last 3 games, they've been nilled, and they've also shipped quite a lot of goals, which on the face of it is a little bit surprising given the shape of the starting 11s that they've put out. But it definitely highlights the lack of goals that is in this team. Now, this doesn't help matters for Manchester United, because I think coming into this, Everton are going to be thinking that they're not going to lose 4 games on the bounce. They're going to come and maybe fight for a draw, maybe fight for a 1-0 win. They're definitely not going to be fighting hard to not be hit for 4 consecutive defeats, which is what they could be very likely looking at. So the number of goals is definitely surprising, as I said. Failure to score in the last 3 games, if you take into account Chelsea, Spurs and the Atalanta game, is a little bit surprising, to be completely honest. So tactically then, how do they look? Going forward, they love a cross. Pull back from the edge of their area is the one that they like. The traditional in the mixer style cross that they're hoping Wayne Rooney or also, you know, Sandro Ramirez can get on the end of. Sandro Ramirez is the centre forward that they replaced Lukaku with. I'm not sure if he was meant to be in a direct replacement or not. He is the guy that has replaced Lukaku, at least at the figurehead of the team. Now, I didn't know a lot about him, so I decided to go and watch a whole year's worth of every single shot that he's taken in a year. It took me some time. The conclusion that I have drawn from watching all of those videos of him is he's garbage. He scored quite a few goals last season for Malaga, to be fair to him, but there's so many opportunities to score that he rushes. There's so many opportunities where he just doesn't look good. He just does the wrong thing. He's just not very good. And I think if this is the guy that they're pinning the hopes on to replace what Romelu Lukaku did, one of the deadliest finishers in the Premier League, then they're going to be in for a real struggle. I think maybe they thought they was getting more goals out of Wayne Rooney. I think he'll probably contribute with like 8 to 10, but he's certainly not going to be pulling 20, 25 goals like Lukaku did for them last season. It's hard to work out what's going wrong really with this Everton side, because when you go through their starting 11, it just appears solid. They've got some good players in there that you can easily see playing at the higher level. If you go through their team, so Pickford's an excellent goalkeeper. You've got Baines is really suited to being like a left wing back. You've got Keane, Williams, Jagielka in defence. Solid players. You know, I'm a big fan of Ashley Williams. I think Keane's a good player. I'm not sure he's ready for the highest level yet. Jagielka's obviously got a lot of experience in the Premier League. He's a decent player. None of these are, you know, the world's greatest centre-half, but together as a three, you think they can keep up with most of the stuff that's going on. Coleman is injured at the moment, but he's a good player. He would have been straight into the team and probably really helped them out against United this weekend if he was going to be playing, but he's injured. Same with Barkley, and I think Bolasie also injured as well. And that's a little bit of the spark in that final third that they could probably make up for having not an out-and-out goal scorer if some of these other players was able to fire them as well. When you look at the midfield, Schneiderlin, Garnegay, Sigurdsson, Calvert-Lewin, they're all really good. Rooney can still have his moments, and I definitely fancy him to get a goal at Old Trafford. You know how this works. It's just a lack of like out-and-out poaching, goal scoring. Like someone like Chicharito might have been a really good signing for them instead of him going to West Ham. If they'd have got someone who can just put the ball in the back of the net, I'm sure they'd have been absolutely fine. But they haven't got that. So I think playing Rooney and Sigurdsson as dual playmakers makes a lot of sense, and in theory should be very solid and should really support whoever they play as a number 9, but in practice it's not really working. So why are they getting slapped all the time? I think it's the system. I think that they're still getting used to it. I think that the positioning is super key to a 3-man defence. That's where it can be amazing, and that's where it can massively fall apart. And if you're not used to it, then it can take a little bit of getting used to. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of communication in that back line, and normally the place that you can breach a 3-man defence is in the gaps here, in between where the three centre halves are. That gap between the wing back and the centre halves is usually where you find most of the space to exploit. But with Everton, teams are coming through the middle. Teams are coming right through the middle of them. And as soon as something happens, and when I've been watching all the chances created against Everton this season, and when you look at the chances that have been created against them, and you compare this to, like, say, the middle of last season when they was right into the system that they was playing, what you see is the players looking around at each other as if not. And I think this is key. If someone was looking around at someone going, "That's your man," I think that's an indicator that that was his man. But they're looking around each other and they're almost going like, was he mine? Was he yours? Like, I don't know whose it is. And that's every single chance that they've conceded. There's chaos. There's no structure, it seems, which is crazy considering it's Ronald Koeman that's the manager. It seems that they're massively lacking structure. The good thing for United is then they're not going to have improved that in the one training session that they've had since their Europa League game. So I think that United have definitely got to try and exploit that. I still think if they come with the 3, which I do expect them to do, I still think you can exploit this area though. Behind a 3-man defence, when the wing-backs are pushed up, the sides of the wide centre-halves and in behind the full-back is exactly where you want to try and be exploiting. And that's what Manchester United need to do with our pacey players. Lukaku likes to pull off into our right-hand channel. You probably have Martial or Rashford in the left-hand channel. You've got to get behind the full-backs. Don't play this going head-to-head against their centre-halves and trying to do stuff there, because they've got 3 of them. So they can easily mark one man. United need to exploit the middle by using nice one-touch football, really fast, using Mata, Mkhitaryan and Lukaku, because they can do that between the 3 of them. But we're going to find space and exploit space with quick counter-attacks in behind them centre-halves, in behind the channels and in behind the full-backs. So that's what I hope Manchester United go and do. Danger man then. So I was really tempted to pick Jordan Pickford, because I think Jordan Pickford is probably their best player, like, is in terms of just sheer ability. I think he's an excellent goalkeeper, someone destined for, I mean, he should be the England goalkeeper. Not that I care about England, but I think he should be the England goalkeeper ahead of Joe Hart. He's a country mile better than him. I think he's going to have the biggest say in how this game is scored by the end of the game. But a danger man for me should be just the man that's going to hurt you. So you as a team can... Because you can't really go, right, how do we make sure Jordan Pickford doesn't hurt us, right? Well, you just fucking score past him, don't you? It's not really what we need to be looking to do. So you need to say, for a danger man, it's the man that we need to stop. Now, Sigurdsson is the one that comes to mind straight away. We know a lot about Sigurdsson from his days at Spurs, from his days at Swansea, but I haven't seen enough of him in an Everton shirt to really analyse how he fits into the system that Ronald Koeman's playing. As I said, I like the idea of having dual playmakers with him and Rooney. Rooney can ghost up into a number 9 spot when needed, but he can also bolster that midfield. And to be fair, Rooney's better playing off the main striker anyway. Although I think that you're going to see something different from Everton this weekend. Like I said, Koeman's not been afraid to mix it up. Wouldn't shock me if he went 4 at the back. Certainly wouldn't shock me if he went 3 at the back, because that's definitely what I expect him to do. But Sigurdsson, I think, we know what he's going to offer us. Apart from that, we don't know what he's going to offer us in this Everton side. He's going to offer long shots. He's going to offer excellent delivery from set pieces, with that free kicks where he's going for goal, or free kicks where he's crossing it, or corners when he's crossing it. That's the sort of things that you get with Sigurdsson, as well as a really neat and tidy player that can make things happen in the final third. But I don't know how he fits into this Everton system and how he can hurt United. So I can't pick Sigurdsson, which means I've got to pick Wayne Rooney. And I think that Wayne Rooney is legitimately the danger man for Manchester United because, one, he wants to score at Old Trafford. There's no doubt about it. There's been a lot of personal shit going on with Wayne Rooney at the moment. But what does Wayne Rooney do best? When Wayne Rooney is fired up, he silences the critics with performances on the field. The stage is set for Wayne Rooney to go and have one of his best games in years, playing against his old team at Old Trafford, amidst all this bullshit that's going on in his personal life. I definitely expect him to get on the score sheet. I just don't think it's going to be enough, because I think that this Manchester United team scores goals, and it scores goals at will. That's the one thing that we can say about this team for the ones from previous years. We are going to score goals. Now, I think you could probably guarantee beating this Everton team if you can score 2 goals, because I think they just completely lack the ability to score goals on a regular basis. I think United are going to score more than that. I'm saying it's going to be 3-1 to Manchester United. Rooney's going to get a consolation. They might even go ahead, which would be bad for United, because that means that they're going to really close up shop, because they'll know that they're not going to outscore us. So they're just going to try and sit back and defend a 1-0 lead. So United need to make sure we get an early goal. I do see Rooney scoring a consolation, but I see Lukaku getting a goal against his old club as well. So it's going to be loads of old player love-ins then. So starting 11-wise then, how do I see Everton coming to Old Trafford? I do think they're going to play 3 at the back. It's going to be Pickford in net. I think it will be Williams, Jagielka and Keane, which, as I said, on paper, really solid. In practice, they've not got this system nailed yet. They really don't. So I think it's going to be those. There's a back 3, and to protect that back 3 and also prevent, and you can see what other teams have done against Manchester United, certainly at Old Trafford. I think they're going to bring in Davies. I think they're going to bring in Schneiderlin, and I think they're going to bring in Gana Gueye. And I do like Gana Gueye. I think he's an excellent footballer. And I think those 3 are going to sit just as a block in front of the 3 defenders. And that 6 is going to be an absolute solid brick of a unit that United are going to have to struggle to break down. How we break that down? Mata, Mkhitaryan, Rashford or Marshall, Lukaku, one-touch football with lots of movement. Drag defenders across. Now, if it's Rashford or Marshall on that left-hand side, they need to be pulling that right-sided centre-half across, making him clash with whoever's in the middle, making him clash, making them have to talk about who's picking who up, because that's where they fail. That's where this team and this system breaks down for them. It's the communication and it's the positioning along that back line. So if you can move them around, then you're going to have a good time. And I think Manchester United certainly can move them around. As a right fullback, I think they're going to bring in Cuco Martina. I think he's obviously better defensively than Calvert-Lewin, who I don't think is really suited to playing as a right wing back, but that's where he's been getting the opportunities at the moment. On the left-hand side, it's got to be Leighton Baines. And then this is where I think they're going to tweak it just a little bit. I think they're going to play Sigurdsson as a number 10, and I think Wayne Rooney's going to be the number 9. Because I think Sandro's garbage, as I said, is rubbish. So I don't think he's going to be seen as the guy that's going to score the goals for Everton in this instance. But I think if you put Wayne Rooney there, if you're Everton, you're going to get a fired-up Wayne Rooney. You're going to get a Wayne Rooney that's probably going to get an opportunity or 2. He's certainly a better finisher than Sandro is. And I think they're going to have to take their chances. And I think the best opportunity for Everton is going to be solid at the back, which they've not been against Chelsea, Atalanta or Spurs. and then provide the platform for when they get the opportunity, they need to have someone clinical. And I think having Sigurdsson there and Wayne Rooney there is going to provide them the best opportunity to do that. So how do United beat that, and how do United line up against that? Well, I think it's pretty obvious, to be honest. I think we go with the back four that we've gone for most of the league games, which is Valencia, Bailly, Jones and Blind. I was going to go 4-3-3, but I think that little interplay in and around those three defenders is going to be what wins us this game. So I've got to stick with the 4-2-3-1. So we're going to go with Herrera and Matic brought in. Herrera just brought in for Pogba in that number 6 role, where he can try and dictate play. He doesn't have that level of final ball like Paul Pogba does, but his energy, his enthusiasm and his metronomic passing can really help in that sort of position. Ahead of him, Mkhitaryan played centrally, where he has been excellent. Mata on the right hand side, where I expect them to swap quite a lot and I expect them to 2v1 a little bit on people. On the left hand side, I'm going for Rashford, just because I think his determination and speed can really get into that final third and that pocket just behind that right-sided fullback, that right-sided wing-back. And then obviously Lukaku up front, who I definitely expect to be getting a goal. So the 3 keys for victory for me, for Manchester United in this game, is play down the middle. Mkhitaryan to Lukaku is going to be an assist that we are seeing against these, especially that's the assist that we want to try and make happen if we're going to win this game. Look at the channels behind the wing backs, because when you play the midfield like this, a 3-5-2, the wing backs are a little bit higher up than they normally would be. If they go to 5 at the back, it's going to be difficult, but there is always space behind the wing backs in this sort of situation, especially when they're being asked to provide the width going forward. So look to exploit the channels, and that's with Mata and with Rashford or Marshall, whoever it is that ends up playing on the left hand side. And then dominate them from corners. Manchester United have been excellent at set pieces, and Everton are really struggling with crosses. I was going to say dominate them from set pieces, but it didn't sound right in my head to say that. But it does mean set pieces and corners. So if we get a free kick in one of those wide areas in the channel, then putting it in, as we've already seen this season, is going to be good for us. We're going to get someone who's going to get their head on it, be that Matic. I guess it won't be Pogba this time around, but Lukaku. There is options for people to be getting their head on it. So dominate them from set pieces, because I think that's a real opportunity for Manchester United to score against Everton. And let's go out and see what can happen. There's a very good chance that Manchester United can give these a good slapping. There's a very good chance we could nil them, but I'm going to say 3-1. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And if you've got any questions about the analysis that I've done for the pre-game, because a lot of you have had some analysis questions for me, please watch the other videos first, because there's a lot of answers in those other videos that I don't really go over in this, because I know there's a lot of the same people that are watching these week in, week out, because I can see by the comments. And then on probably Monday morning, looking at how late it's going to be when we get back after the Everton game, I think probably Monday morning I will get the post-game analysis out to nicely bookend this. This seems to be a series that's going down really well with everybody, so thank you for that. Make sure to subscribe if you're liking this sort of stuff. Check out the youth review, which was uploaded this morning, where we're talking about Angel Gomez's contract situation. As I said, any questions, queries and comments. If not, I will see you on Monday morning with the post-match analysis of whatever happened at Old Trafford between United and Everton. Thanks for watching. See you later.